Hello, welcome back, my dear children. Hope all of you are safe and happy at your home. In the last class, we completed the story The Little Girl and the Umbrella. Didn't you? Okay, did you enjoy the story? Very good. Today, we are going to learn a new lesson a Saturday morning. It depicts the story of a boy who is very lazy. He is living with his aunt Polly. Okay? This story is taken from the chapter of a famous novel, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, written by Mark Twain. He was an American author and humorist. Okay, my dears, are you ready to hear the story? Okay, let's move to the story. I will read the lesson. You listen carefully and read with me. A Saturday morning. Tom? No answer. Tom? No answer. Where can he be? Aunt Polly asked herself. He must be somewhere here. She went to the door, looked out into the garden, and shouted again, Tom! Tom? No answer. The old lady stood there thoughtfully. Suddenly, she heard a sound behind her. She turned round quickly. There was Tom near the cupboard door. He had jam all over his face. What have you been doing? Aunt Polly asked angrily. When Tom didn't answer, she went on. You have been stealing jam again? Don't tell me that you haven't. Haven't I told you 100 times to keep away from that cupboard? Where's the stick? Aunt Polly took her stick and raised it high. She was about to strike Tom hard. Okay, my dears, listen here. Did you get the idea? Who are the characters in this story? Yes, the boy Tom and his aunt Polly. Okay? Aunt Polly calling Tom, but no reply from him. She repeatedly calling him, but no answer. She asked herself, where can he be? He must be somewhere here. He won't go anywhere. She went to the door and looked into the garden. Then she called loudly. She didn't get any reply from him. She was thoughtful for a while. At that time, she heard a sound behind her. When she turned there, she saw Tom near the cupboard door. Okay, dears, can you say what was Tom doing there? Yes, very good. He was stealing something. Steal means to take something without permission. Do you know what was that? Let's see. When Aunt Polly looked at Tom, the jam was sticking here and there on his face. By seeing this, she was very angry because Aunt Polly asked him so many times, don't steal jam. Here, Aunt Polly asked him, what have you been doing there? But no reply from him. So she went to him and she said, oh, I see, you have been stealing jam again? Don't say lie. Haven't I told you 100 times don't go to the cupboard? I know if you go there you will steal it. She searched the stick. When she got the stick, she raised it to beat him. Okay, my dears, let's move on to the next passage. Students, listen carefully and read with me. Look behind you, Auntie, shouted Tom. Aunt Polly looked behind her. This was Tom's chance. He rushed out of the house. He climbed over the fence. Soon he was far away. Aunt Polly was angry, but she laughed. He's a bad boy, she said to herself, but I love him. He is my poor dead sister's boy, and I must look after him. I don't like to hit him, though I have to at times. If I don't punish him, he will grow up lazy and wicked. Yes, I must be strict. Aunt Polly sighed. I will have to punish him for stealing the jam. But how? I know tomorrow is Saturday and there is no school on Saturdays. The boys have a holiday, but I will make Tom work. That will punish him. Okay, listen here, my dears. Here, Aunt Polly raised the stick to beat him, but it failed because at that time Tom played a trick there. Let's see what was the trick. Tom shouted, Auntie, you look behind. What's there? That was Tom's trick. When Aunt Polly looked back, he rushed out of the house. That means he quickly ran out of the house, over the fence, and he ran far away. Aunt Polly felt angry, but she laughed. She couldn't beat him. Even though he was very mischievous, she loved him very much because he was her poor dead sister's son. So she had to give good care to him. But she didn't like to punish him. She could understand that if she don't give punishment, he will become very lazy and wicked. What do you mean by wicked? Wicked means mischievous. Yes, I will be strict to him, Aunt Polly sighed. Definitely, I will have to punish him for stealing the jam. But she thought, how will I punish him? Then she got an idea. Yes, tomorrow is holiday. That is Saturday. We know no schools on Saturdays. So he will ready to go to play. But I will not allow him to play. I will make him to do work. That way I will punish him tomorrow. Students, now let's move on to the next passage. Listen carefully, I will read it. The next day, Saturday, was a holiday for the school. All the boys in the village were free. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. The trees and flowers looked fresh and lovely. Tom, of course, wanted to go swimming. All other boys were going swimming. Listen here, my dears. In this passage, the author describes about the beauty of the Saturday. All of us know that most of the Saturdays are holidays for schools. Here the day was very bright. The sun was shining and the birds were singing on the trees. The trees and flowers were looked fresh and lovely. Lovely means beautiful. Okay, students, what will you do on such type of Saturdays? Yes, you will go to play with your friends. Here, Tom also wants to play with his friends. He had lot of friends. They are from the village. Tom liked swimming very much. He used to go with their friends to swimming. He was happy and ready to go for a swimming with his friends. Okay, students, then let's move on to the next passage to see what happened to Tom on that day. Listen carefully and read with me. Tom came sadly out of the house. He held a long brush in one hand. In the other, he carried a bucket full of whitewash. His aunt asked him to whitewash the fence. Tom looked sadly at the fence. How high it is, how long it is, he thought. Indeed, the height of the fence was 9 feet and its length was 30 yards. Tom put his brush into the whitewash. He drew it slowly across the fence. It made a very small white mark. Tom tried again. Another very small white mark. Tom sat down and sighed heavily. He took out all the things that he had in his pockets. He had some marbles, some pieces of string, and 2 or 3 broken toys. No one will whitewash the fence for this, he thought. No, I must think of a better plan, he thought and thought. Soon he had an idea. Students, listen here, I will explain it. But when Tom came out of the house, he had a long painting brush in one hand and other hand he carried a bucket full of whitewash. Aunt Polly asked him to whitewash the fence. What do you mean by fence? Fence is a boundary around a place. When he looked at the fence, he felt very sad. He wondered about its length and height. It was 9 feet height and length was 30 yards. Then he started to whitewash the fence. He dipped the brush into the whitewash and slowly drew it. Again and again he had done it in this way. He couldn't complete it. He was very lazy. So he sat down and sighed heavily. He had some strange things as toys. He took out all things he had in his pocket. Students, do you want to see? Very good. Look, what are the things in his pocket? Yes, some marbles, pieces of strings, and 2 or 3 broken toys. He thought, who will help me to whitewash it? He thought for a long time. Suddenly, he got an idea. Okay, dears, it's the time to wind up today's class. Hope you enjoyed today's session. We will meet in the next class to see what was the idea. Don't forget to read the passage 3 times. Thank you.